Frightmare Weekend is back! How are you guys feeling? I've missed all your depraved, dysfunctional faces. It's good to see at least half of your faces. And it's good to be back. The last time we were here, if you can believe, was like almost 2.5 years ago. But it just, felt like we were all back at Weird Slasher Summer Camp when we all walked in. So it's so good to see you guys. It's so good to be back with our Texas Frightmare family. How are you guys feeling? Are you feeling good? I believe this is the first panel, right? The first panel of second panel of Texas Frightmare Weekend 2021. But it's one of the first, biggest, and best. Not because of me, but because of the special guests that we're going to be bringing out here in a minute, and we are just waiting on them right now. So let's go ahead and release those live bees into the audience. Everybody stick around. If you all look under your seats right now, you get a bedazzled bee. You get a bee, and you get a bee, and you get a bee. Well, just, you know what? I want to get a vibe of the room. I want to read the room here. Who has not seen Candyman 2021, as we refer to it? Oh, shit. Okay.
That's not good.
Are you killing this for those of us who haven't seen it yet?
Do what?
Are you going to kill it for those of us who haven't seen it yet?
Maybe, honestly.
Because that's all they want to talk about is the movie that nobody saw here. So.
I mean, a lot of people did see it.
A lot of people did see it.
Made a lot of money. It was #1 at the box office. Let's give a round of applause for the new Candyman. I will try and dance around it. I guess I should just maybe cross off half these questions. Yeah, we'll try and dance around it. I figured Texas Frightmare Weekend, all of you would have seen the new Candyman. What have you been doing? You haven't had anything else to do. That's for sure.
I've been busy off the hook.
Not seen the original Candyman.
Oh.
What are you doing here? What are you doing here? You get a pass. You get a pass.
James, I think they thought we were just giving away candy. I think that's...
Some people thought this was the Willy Wonka.
This is the Willy Wonka panel.
You know what? You get a pass because you were like -years old in 1992. Were you even thinking about him in 1992? No. Yes. Who else has not seen? Okay, you're an adult. You have no excuse. All right. It would be weird if you had not seen the original Candyman, but you did see Candyman 2 and 3. That would be weird.
Weird is the new norm.
Yeah, well, yeah. All right, well, now we got to read in the room. We're not going to talk about Candyman at all, because we can't spoil it for anyone. We'll just talk about, what should we talk about? We'll talk about The Rock. Tony Todd was in The Rock. We'll turn this in. Has everybody seen The Rock with Nicolas Cage? Alright, it seems like most of you have. We can talk about that movie. What about Final Destination? What about, I don't know, Night of the Living Dead? And you want to stick around, because we have another panel featuring Tony Todd for Night of the Living Dead. But without further ado, let's do something special to welcome Mr. Tony Todd to the Texas Frightmare Weekend stage. What we're going to do, you know what we're going to do. We're going to say it 5 times. We're not going to do Candyman. We're going to do Tony Todd 5 times. When we say Tony Todd 5 times, Tony Todd appears. I promise you. So here we go. 1. gentlemen,
How we doing today?
welcome. Welcome back. I can only imagine this is probably your first convention back. It's probably your first time to be in a room with this many people.
Dedicated horror fans. We love you.
So,
Definitely love you guys.
so I pulled the room just to see who has seen the new Candyman, to see what we can talk about.
Okay.
We're gonna dance around it a little bit.
Right.
So, hey, the man says he wants to talk about it. We're gonna talk about it.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Jordan Peele was here. He could see this. He would be, but he's got a shy complex. You'll never get him in a room like this, but he would be amazed. And Nia DeCosta did a wonderful job as a woman, as an African American, bringing the legacy back. And I feel cast director may be nominated for Best Director, so we'll see what happens.
And not only that, the movie was historic. She was the first black female director to debut at #1 in the box office.
There you go. Personally, I love all directors, but women directors have a different way of looking at life, different sensibility, and we like that. Where did you first know that you like women?
Yeah, of course I like women.
I know you did. When did you first know that?
I don't know, preschool, kindergarten.
Kindergarten. As soon as your teacher gave you some graham crackers, right? Orange juice. Makes you take a little nap.
Look, I had a girlfriend way back then.
It's been a long day already. It's been a long day.
I actually got 8 hours sleep last night. I don't know how that happened, but it's good. Because I knew today was going to be a huge day, and I didn't want to be exhausted and meeting you people and not giving you 100%. So I sacrificed. And on behalf of Virginia Manson, whose birthday was yesterday, she really wanted to be here, but she got a little chicken feet and stuff. But next time she's going to be, so we get the whole people. And Bernard Rose, the director of the original, sends his best as well.
I guess I would start out by asking, just after so many years, what was it like? Did you ever imagine that it would come back, and you could have never imagined it would come back in such a significant way?
Did I have a sticker on my head?
We weren't going to say anything about it.
Nobody wanted to tell me.
It's a choice. Maybe you forgot your name.
Oh my God.
You respected your fashion choices. I didn't say anything about it. But I'm glad the giant bee in the room has been addressed. But yeah, what was it like to be back after all these years?
Well, I don't think he ever left, and mostly because of the horror community and fans like you guys have been lifting this character around for 28 years at different conventions all over the world, but none bigger than Texas Frightmare. This is where it begins and ends.
Absolutely, yeah. I got lost. Well, let's go back to that first film, because as timely and important as a new film feels, the first one was equally as timely and important in its time. You were the first. You were the first kind of like black Dracula. You were the first black slasher.
Blackula before that.
In a way that it was significant for our culture in the time to have a person of color at the center of a film like that.
Absolutely.
As a slasher, and how much that informed the film. I mean, did you expect the movie to be kind of to resonate with horror fans?
Well, when I read the script, I knew it was going to be a one-of-a-kind, gothic, universal type monster because of the bees, right?
Yes.
When I read the scenes of the bees, I said, this has never been done before, and probably will never be done again, and that way I knew it would be memorable to anybody whose hands it touched. So that was important. The script was magnificent. And shooting in Chicago, You can tell them more about.
This is what I'm gonna say about shooting in Chicago. It was very cold, and Virginia, you know, who's not here, would keep me warm. What? So there's a scene. If you guys remember the movie, there's a scene where we're walking out of the projects and we're going to the bonfire, and that scene. It was very cold outside, so in between the takes, she would wrap her coat around me and hold me and keep me warm. And so it was just, she kept me warm. And you know, Virginia was just great to work with, and then that iconic scene outside the bathroom. You know, who can forget that? Can't fix that. They found it floating in the toilet. Can't fix that. Better off dead. I ain't scared of nobody, but you crazy coming around here all on your own. It ain't safe around here.
Is it true they called you One Take Jake on set because you would nail your scenes and you like that? Like it was
the bathroom scene. We did the bathroom scene and it took them one take to get what they needed. I came in there, did my look. She was, you know, beat up on the ground, and then that was it.
Yeah.
And then they were saying, one take Jake. All right.
One take Jake.
One take Jake. And it kind of stuck. You know.
But then I heard another story that when the film was finally finished and premiered, you were too scared to watch it and you would only step in the theater just to see yourself.
That is absolutely true. I had met Tony. I saw the Candyman layer. I knew Tony was a good guy and everything.
But you remember, I kept my coat on the whole time in production.
Yeah, but
I wasn't there.
Right, but the
I
whole.
want you guys to feel it.
Yeah, the whole. When I saw the movie, when that music came on and everything, it set the mood of I'm scared. I was scared of the movie during the cast and crew screening. I said yes. That's when I said, "Come get me when my part comes." And little by little, even when I was at that age, I saw more and more of the movie till finally I saw everything without closing my eyes. But I was scared of Candyman. I didn't want to go to the bathroom by myself. I wasn't saying Candyman in the mirror. I didn't even want to sleep by myself. I slept in my aunt's room. I was like, I'm scared of Candyman. So I had quite an experience, and my family members, my little brothers, and everybody went to see. They were scared, and everybody has their own story about the Candyman and how they wouldn't say his name 5 times in the mirror. But it was very real, and it resonated. But Burner did an excellent job directing. He got those looks out of me. Give it up for Burner. Kept me in character. He knew how to get what he needed. So when you see those looks that I'm giving in the movie and how in the character I was, it was because of the great Bernard Rose and some of the direction, and of course it was great working with Virginia. She was really good too. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, what you said is a testament. I think that was all of our experience with the film, and it's been incredible to see how it took on like a mythology of its own. I remember, you know, growing up as a kid, Candyman replaced Bloody Mary. Like it was a part of our. I think when I was getting at Black Dracula, of course I know Blackula. I wouldn't be up here if I didn't know Blackula. But it was in the way that the previous generation had Dracula and Frankenstein, Freddy and Jason and Michael, and then Candyman were our universal monsters. And for you to inhabit this kind of, it was beautiful. It was romantic. It was gothic and haunting. And
now the new one is back under Universal, so now we're officially a Universal monster.
I read something that you actually came up with Daniel's backstory. That made him so tragic.
Well, I thought that was a missing layer in the film. I knew that the modernization of shooting it in a housing project was revolutionary, but then I wanted to make it less of a monster and more of a man with the lost, unrequited love. So
Absolutely.
I came up with the that angle, and the fact that he was an artist first, so I thought made it more tragic.
Absolutely.
Because he lost his ability to do what he loved the most.
Which I would argue made him more akin to the Universal monsters than a Freddy or a Jason or a Michael. He was this tragic figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a love story.
Absolutely.
I don't think I looked at that until a little bit later, how it was a love story, because I was scared, you know, when I saw it. We were looking at the script and everything. It was a love story between these two people over these generations.
You know, first of all, there's a 10-minute sequence in there that was cut by the studios because they was afraid of the
Intimacy.
the interracial intimacy.
Yeah.
But one day, they may be included in the director's cut. It's that the turntable sequence just before I take Virginia to the lair. I'm doing poetry tours, she responds, we're loving each other, the turntable goes around and around, and finally I take her to the position of triumph.
And that is a perfect segue, because you can't talk about any of this without acknowledging what made that all so present was Clive Barker. It all started with Clive Barker. What was your, as an adaptation, so to speak, what was your experience working with him on this?
He was actually on the set maybe twice a week.
Yeah.
I mean, he was honored. I know he was prepping his own film coming up with Scott Bakula, was it? But he gave his blessings, and he and Bernard were on the same page, and he knew this was going to help him. So
Yeah.
It wasn't about a fighting for position or anything.
Right, yeah.
You know, film work is teamwork, so as long as you get the right crew, the right cast, the rest of it is easy.
Yeah, absolutely. I have one more question that's, I know you've answered this a million times, but it's just fun to ask you. How many times did you get stung by bees?
28.
28.
26, 28, I lost count. After the first 12, you know. Yeah, mostly on my lip, some on my cavity.
During the big reveal scene. with the
Yeah,
bees,
two slipped down my pants, that's when I had it. I said, what? No, you didn't.
The infamous story about that is that there's something with a lawyer and some kind of...
Yeah, I had a great lawyer.
Yeah.
And as soon as we solved the problem that was coming up, we drafted a little thing and we got $1,000 per scene. But I'm an honest man, so it was never more than 26, 28. 2,800, 2,600.
He got $1,000 per bee that stung him.
We're gunslingers, man.
They can sting me for that. Where the bees at? All right, I'm gonna be in the next Candyman, and I'm telling them to have Jake be stung by the bees. $1,000 a sting. Send me about 20 times.
Finally get the Candyman Wu-Tang crossover.
Right.
Yeah, there we go. Well, let's kick it out to you guys. I'm sure you have some great questions. Yeah, oh wow, yeah, there we go. So we'll just start right here in the front.
Oh, so I just want to start off by saying, like, you were talking about the Universal monsters. That was that you were a man before you were a monster. That was mostly Universal monsters. Even Dracula's backstory, Frankenstein, the Invisible Man, the Mummy,
Right.
even with their dark past.
Invisible Man.
Yeah, Invisible. Yeah, all those characters were like, and you were, I guess you could say, because of The Rock, you were the first Black Rocket Man. I throw that in there, but I wanted to ask. You said like you lost count after like 26 or 28 beast things, but if you got $1,000 for each, I feel like if you got paid for it, you wouldn't forget.
Well, that was 28 years ago, whatever it is.
I'm just judging you.
My kids' college fund and all that. You know. But I grew up making those wonderful monsters from Aurora. Man, I don't know, some of you remember those, until they banned airplane glue. Couldn't make them anymore. But that was my childhood. I was an only kid, so I had to entertain myself. Did hypnotism on myself. Played road racing, and then I discovered women.
Yeah, I'm curious your question, because you had never seen Candyman.
Wow, okay, go ahead. Now we're being attacked.
I'm so sorry.
I wanted to ask, what's your favorite, of the original Universal monsters, what's your favorite and/or what's your favorite horror movie?
Well, all of them, but I mean, props to Bella, props to Boris, but the one that I really traced for the creation of where Candyman was coming from was Phantom of the Opera. I wanted to make it elegant. Elegant and still scary.
Absolutely. Yeah, right here.
Do you believe that the Candyman was a monster as far as his lynching goes? Is he a reaction to society's actions?
Absolutely, he's a direct result of society's action. I never wanted to play him like a monster. I tried to get his humanity first, you know, his ability to love and his ability for companionship. So yes, he was a victim of lynching, and this is a cautionary tale. What can happen if hatred comes inside and eats itself alive? Thank you for asking that.
Good. Yeah, right here.
What was your favorite of the 3 Candyman movies?
The first one. There's a fourth one that was presented to me that was never made. I'm so glad we didn't even go further, but they wanted to do Candyman versus Leprechaun.
That'd be a tricky one.
I feel so emotionally conflicted about that.
Well, you already, Leprechaun had been to the hood twice. And
But it's like a real dark period of horror in the late 90s.
They were leading up to it.
Yes, right. What?
Hell no.
Leprechaun versus Candyman.
No.
no, we're good. We waited, Jordan and Mia came along.
The black congregation says no.
So first of all, I want to say congrats on being Venom. That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Yes.
And I have a question for both of you. Did you guys ever grow up in your tight-knit community as like a little kid or a teenager have any type of myths like Candyman?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up in the ghetto. I was raised as an only child. My aunt rescued me when I was 3, and I was surrounded by a graveyard. I didn't even know I was 4 until around 12. But it was her. Every summer she made sure my mind was active, I was in the program. She saved my life, and that's what I always honor her.
We say grew up in the ghetto. I grew up in the inner city of Los Angeles and was fortunate enough to go to a Christian school. So I was kind of, I can say, sheltered from my surroundings until I got older. Then I realized what was going on in the community. But like you said, as far as someone to be like scared of, or it was Candyman. It was after I did Candyman, that was it. I mean, before Candyman, we had Freddy. I was scared of Freddy Krueger. I would have nightmares about Freddy Krueger or Freddy, I think it was Freddy was the one. I'd seen Jason and everything, but Freddy was the main one. But Candyman, once I did Candyman, that was it. That was the one that everybody in my neighborhood, you know, was scared of. But they respected Candyman and everybody loved Candyman. So.
I guess that's why I've never been mugged in the ghetto. I got lost last night. I had some food and my GPS set me down some weird street where there was some homeless action, but I had my Spider-Man shirt on. And I knew I was playing Venom, so I was there.
Alright, so we got time for a couple more. Let's take that one all the way in the back.
Space out the room.
Yell! Oh, I wasn't.
You didn't know it.
prepared for it. Yeah, I didn't know it. It's coming up. Now I'm getting scared. It's getting closer.
Yeah, but there.
I had actually read about that Candyman Leprechaun proposal several years back.
Yeah.
But do you think it would have made more sense if they put you up against another trifalco character, Pam or Desire? You called us, we came.
Yeah, is there somebody you would have wanted to see Candyman cross over with?
Maybe Mickey Rooney. Richard Pryor. I wish I could do something.
Oh, wow.
Richard Pryor. Like, do a mudbone impersonation of him.
We could have done the kind of Laurel and Hardy Universal Monsters approach to taking Candyman Colorado.
Abbott and Costello.
Or Abbott and Costello, yeah. All right, let's, right here, yeah, a couple more. Hi.
Hi, I have a question and a really quick follow-up question. Have you ever said Candyman in the mirror? And my follow-up question is, Tony,
times in the mirror. Not in the mirror. No. No.
I'm even thinking about the concept of how I could appear in a mirror behind me.
I think this is a perfect note to end on. Ladies and gentlemen of Texas Frightmare Weekend, give a huge round of applause.
Thank you all for coming out. We love you guys.